At around 2:17 a.m., an American satellite detected a strange signal among the snow-covered mountains of Alaska.
The signal was coming from beneath the ground. But the strangest thing was that there was no city there. No road. No building. No power station. According to satellite records, for the past 80 years, there had been nothing there but snow and mountains.
Yet an emergency transmission was continuously coming from underground.
One message: do not come down. A few seconds later, the signal stopped.
We are still alive. Early the next morning, a special search team was sent from Anchorage.
Leading the team was Dr. Ethan Cole, a 38-year-old geologist who had spent years researching Alaska's underground formations.
With him were former Army Ranger Captain Jack Miller, technician Ryan Brooks, and field medic Sarah Carter. When the helicopter reached the location, all they could see below was white snow.
It wasn't supposed to be. Ryan detected an unusual electromagnetic reading on the ground. He looked at the machine.
Guys, there's something under us.
Jack asked, "How deep?" Ryan stared at the screen.
About 200 feet.
Ethan remained silent for a few seconds. Then he said, "After nearly 4 hours of drilling, the machine suddenly stopped. There was a sound of metal being struck. Clang! They cleared away the snow and rock, and there, a massive metal door appeared. Old letters were written on the door. Project Hollow Sky, 1958, Sarah said in surprise.
1958?
Ethan slowly nodded his head. This place doesn't exist on any map. Jack tried to open the door. The door was locked. But then, someone knocked 3 times from inside. Everyone went completely silent. Ryan stepped back. "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" Jack prepared his rifle.
Everyone stay behind me.
Then a weak voice came from inside.
Help us!
After considerable effort, the door opened. Behind the door was a long underground tunnel. The team slowly began to enter. After a few hundred feet, the tunnel suddenly opened into a massive underground chamber. And what they saw, no one could believe what they were seeing. There was an entire town, old houses, a church, a gas station, a diner. There were even cars parked on the street. Everything looked like it was from the 1950s. But the most terrifying thing, everything was exactly as if people had left only a few minutes earlier. Coffee cups were sitting on a table in the diner. Chair was still moving. Ryan slowly asked, "How is this possible?" Ethan did not answer. Then Sarah noticed photographs on a wall. She raised her flashlight. The photos showed the same underground town, but the photographs were dated 1958. The team continued deeper into the town.
We're here to help!
A few seconds later, the door opened. An old man was standing in front of them. His name was Samuel Reed.
But he appeared to be about 90 years old.
How long have you been down here?
6 to 8 years.
Sarah asked.
How are you still alive?
Samuel gave no answer.
He only pointed outside. You need to leave. Ethan asked. Why? Samuel slowly said. Because tonight, the lights will come back on.
Samuel took them to an old underground control room and told them the whole story.
In 1958, the U.S. government built a secret experimental facility beneath this area. While searching for underground geothermal energy, scientists discovered a massive natural cavity beneath the ground. But the cavity wasn't just an empty space. There was something there that the scientists had never seen before, a strange underground ecosystem. And within that ecosystem, there were creatures living there. Scientists began the experiment. They installed artificial lights in the area. They installed machines, and they built an underground city. But a few months later, problems began. People started disappearing. Something appeared on the security cameras, but not a human, only long shadows.
Then, one night, the entire facility was placed under lockdown. The government sealed the facility from the outside.
And the people inside were left there. We weren't supposed to survive.
Then why did the distress signal start now? Samuel looked at him. The color had drained from his face.
Because the thing that kept us alive, he stopped, is waking up.
Suddenly, the entire underground town was plunged into darkness. Cielic. Then, one by one, the streetlights began turning on. The entire town was glowing with old lights. Samuel nervously stepped back. "No," Jack asked. "What happens now?"
Run!
At that exact moment, a shadow appeared across the street in the distance. Very tall, very thin, and much larger than a human. Then a second shadow appeared, then a third. Sarah raised her flashlight. But there was no one there. Suddenly, a car horn sounded from behind. Everyone turned around. An old 1958 car had started by itself. Its headlights were pointed directly at them, and inside the windshield, a man was sitting there. The same man was also in the photographs from 1958, but in the photograph, he was 30 years old.
And now, he looked exactly the same. Move!
The team began running down the underground street. Heavy footsteps could be heard behind them. Thump, thump, thump. With every step, the ground shook. Ryan looked back. A massive creature was emerging from the darkness. Its body was approximately 12 feet tall. Its skin was pale. Its eyes were completely black.
And its face, it looked nothing like a human.
It's coming!
Jack started firing. Gunshots echoed through the underground town. The creature took a few steps backward.
Ethan said, "Bullets aren't stopping it!" Samuel shouted, "The lights! Turn off the lights!"
Ethan immediately looked toward the control panel. If the lights went out, maybe the creature would return to the darkness. Ethan and Ryan ran toward the control room. But as soon as they arrived, they saw something on the monitors. Hundreds of cameras. Each camera showed a different part of the underground town. And on every camera,
Ethan kept his eyes fixed on the screen. Then he noticed an underground tunnel. The tunnel was enormous. Inside it, dozens of glowing eyes were visible. Ethan quietly said, "That's not a tunnel."
Then what is it? It's a nest.
Ethan activated the emergency power system. The lights throughout the town began shutting down. One by one,
The darkness spread, and as soon as the last light went out, the entire underground city became silent.
The creature's sounds stopped too. Jack said over the radio, "Everyone move, now." The team ran toward the entrance, but Samuel stayed where he was. Sarah saw him.
Samuel, come with us.
Samuel said with a faint smile.
I've been waiting 68 years for someone to come back.
Sarah tried to take his hand, but Samuel pulled his hand away.
You don't understand. Someone has to keep them down here.
Suddenly, a terrifying roar came from the distance. Samuel closed the door.
Jack!
Jack shouted.
Samuel!
but it was too late. Ethan, Jack, Sarah, and Ryan somehow made it back to the surface.
The helicopter was still there. They immediately started the helicopter and left the area.
A few minutes later, Ryan looked back. Where the underground facility had been, the snow had completely frozen over again. It looked like nothing had ever been there. But suddenly, static began coming through the helicopter radio. Then a voice was heard, very slowly, from very far away.
We are still alive.
Ethan's face turned pale because it wasn't Samuel's voice. It was a child's voice.
Can anyone hear me?
3 days later, Ethan was questioned in Washington, D.C. Government officials ordered him not to talk to anyone about the mission. But Ethan had saved one last thing. A photograph. A photograph from 1958. There were about 40 people standing in the underground town. But now Ethan looked closely at the photograph.
Something else appeared on the back of the photo. A shadow. A very large shadow. And beneath it was a handwritten message.
The town was never the experiment. We were. Don't look under Alaska.
Ethan read the message, and a few seconds later, a satellite map of Alaska automatically opened on his phone.
Not one, but 17 different locations were glowing red. Ethan's eyes widened, because all of those locations,
they were beneath the ice of Alaska. And at one of those locations, a new signal had just activated. The signal contained only one voice.
We found the surface.